Okay, let's move on to the paper review. Let's start with The Nation. Hiccups in PVC distribution. Huge crowd receives Tinubu in Mina. FEC okays 9.24 billion naira life insurance cover for public servants. Again, Obagbina lies without shame, manufactures own alternate reality. Senate to TBN adjusts cash withdrawal limit. Federal government okays whistleblower bill to strengthen anti-graft war. Banks roll out redesigned Naira notes today. Oh, that's true. Today is 15th. Yeah.
I saw the notes in my
And JAM remits 50 billion naira to federal government. All right. Let's start with which story?
Yes, so the story about the PVC. It said a lot of Nigerians stormed INEC offices in different local governments to pick up their permanent voters' cards. You know, they had said that January 22nd is the deadline for us to pick up our cards, and there were a lot of queues across the centers, and people were not able to find their cards. So for some people, their names had shown in the register that they were supposed to have picked up their cards. Their cards were supposed to have been ready, but they got there and either it's mixed up or they can't even find it, or it's not, they're speculating maybe it has not even been produced. And so INEC is calling for patience, saying that they are going to try as much as possible to address all issues. So they gave us reports of different states and the situations happening there. They said in Abia, the residents were told that their cards were going to be arriving from Abuja, and they have to wait for that. Across states, they have one issue or the other, but INEC is promising that they'll find a way to resolve it so that we can all pick up our cards.
We have good news for civil servants and public office holders in Nigeria. According to the Minister for Minister for Finance, Budget and National Planning, FEC has okayed 9.2 billion, 24 billion for the 2022-2023 group life insurance cover for Nigerian public servants. According to her, after the memorandum was presented by the head of the civil service of the Federation, it was approved and is meant to cover 30% of the annual emolument of any government worker who is deceased. And the cover is paid by the insurance companies to the beneficiaries of the deceased workers. I hope that, the process of, enforcement too goes as smoothly as this was read, and that nobody has to queue or suffer to get the entitlement of their parents as long as the paperwork is done.
Okay, so there's a lot of buzz happening between the Asiwaju's campaign committee and Arise TV owner Obagbina. So this thing started, I think, about a week ago, and after Obagbina had written out a press statement saying that the Asiwaju's team are refusing to allow him come to the town hall meetings. They were saying that they were against press, media freedom. And there was a huge article against the fact that why they were not allowing Asiwaju to come to Arise TV. Asiwaju's team actually then responded and accused Obagbina's team for actually not doing what they should have done. According to, I'm trying to look up for the reports here they had accused Obagbina of so many things, saying that he does not have the ethical standing to actually project or insist on them appearing before them at the town hall meeting. And they listed quite a number of things. He's notorious for not paying his salaries of his staff, notorious for causing his staff to go on unethical practices, his model of media practice, which he exported to South Africa, how he was banned and how he worked against MK Abiola by going to CNN saying that there was no election. There's so many things they've put together against Obagbina. Obagbina now replied again, and that insisted that, of course, he spoke against what they said against him and saying that he was insisting that they were still, they were not upholding the freedom of media by not allowing Asiwaju to come to Arise TV. Anyway, there's a lot of back and forth, and now the team has also responded again. It's brought a lot of up and down with these two areas, but the truth is that at the end of the day, what is more important to Nigerians is the freedom of speech, freedom of expression, and on both sides, people should be allowed to express themselves.
It's also not right to bully a candidate
into coming to your
platform
party.
If they don't feel that secure. Because, if you call it freedom of speech to speak at any candidate, it's not right to
insist. Why was it in that platform?
You can insist.
He was even saying that,
according to
Asiwaju,
bullying,
he was saying that they actually already planned their own media activities towards
It
the
does not
campaign.
include-
Does not include going to your state. So even any station, actually.
I don't understand.
I think at least for now. Well, you see, it's a lot of back and forth. I didn't really want to go into the details, but the truth is that we want to move on from this. Let's take to another story. The Punch. Banks reconfigure ATMs. New Naira enters circulation today. Crude Abiola's children sue federal government, demand $10 million. World Cup, brave Morocco bow out to France. FG opens second Niger Bridge once again speeding. NNPC price slash fails to end fuel queues. FG approves new whistleblower bill, cancels tax holiday. INEC budgets 117 billion naira for anti-hacking software. Others. PNID, Nigeria's failed contract debt hits 5 trillion naira. Okay, which story are we taking?
Okay, so go on.
Okay, the petrol queues may likely continue, according to this report. They said many states, despite the fact that they had slashed 17 kobo from the ex-depot price of the commodity, all marketers are still not having enough oil to dispense. So members of the Independent Petroleum Marketers Association of Nigeria said the supply of PMS by the Nigerian National Petroleum Company Limited was still low, and many states outside Lagos and Abuja were not getting enough products. They said the queues are already abating in some states, which I have not seen because in Lagos, I'm in Lagos now, and I still see a lot of queues. And they say places like Abuja, Lagos still have the queues being abated. However, they are lacking products to dispense, and that's the major issue. Now, NNPC went ahead to reduce the ex-depot price of petrol from 148 naira 17 kobo to 148 naira. They removed the 17 kobo. However, that did not solve the issue. They still have a lot of places where there is no PMS to dispense to the people. So the question is now that it's not about the price, it's the fact that they do not have the products to dispense. And the transporters are saying that the marketers are saying that to convey the fuel from one point to another is costing them so much. So you can't put in money and lose money and then continue in that business. And you know that I think last week, DSS gave them about 24 hours to ensure that they open up and sell to everybody. But now that the 24 hours or 48 hours has elapsed, there's still no fuel. So what are you going to be selling to the people? That the DSS should have found a way to understand the problems the marketers have and find a way to solve it, not giving ultimatums that will not work.
Okay, so good news for the people traveling east this December. The federal government, through the Office of the Minister for Works and Housing, have declared the second Niger Bridge open. The minister was there, Babatunde Fashola was there yesterday to commission the bridge for use, saying that, you know, the bridge starts to be temporarily open from the 15th of December to the 15th of January, where the other side inwards, the west, will be open for return for those who are traveling. It says that a lot of administrations have talked about the solution to the gridlock, usually on the first Niger Bridge, but no administration was able to bring the solution. But President Muhammadu Buhari's administration brought this to light through various means of funding, including repatriated funds, you know, all sorts of means. And he says that he put out the disclaimer that the bridge is not finished work yet. He said, let me be clear again, we haven't finished construction on the bridge, but we would open it for people to use to relieve
This
pressure
period.
from the first bridge. On January 15th, we would reverse the movement so that inwards returning to the west for those coming from east to west. So great news, congratulations, and well done.
All right. Let me go on a quick break. When we come back, we continue with our review. Stay with us, we'll be right back. Thanks for staying with us. We're still reviewing Punch, and I was going to take the story. The children of the late Crude Abiola are suing the federal government $10 million for compensation. According to them, they're taking the government to ECOWAS Court of Justice, and their lawyer, Femi Falana, is filing the suit against the federal government. They're saying that, especially because Sergeant Barnabas Jabila, a member of the killer squad set up, had confessed at the city, if you recall, Okuta panel back in 2000, where he was asked about what happened concerning the murder of late Crude Abiola, and he had confessed that he had attempted to kill also Senator Ibrahim Adesanya and Alex Ibru on the instruction of Major Hamza Al-Mustafa, the chief security officer of Abacha at the time. He said that the killing of Kudrat by the armed agents of the defense was legal and violation of the human rights. So like that's Falana speaking now. He had also said that they're expecting that the federal government pays $10 million compensation to the family, and also there should be an order directing the defendant to charge Sergeant Barnabas Jabila and Muhammad Abdul, a.k.a. Katako, and Aminu Muhammad with murder for the brutal killing of the... So it's interesting that these guys are not charged for murder. These people that confessed to the killing have not been charged for murder. So, I mean, this is a case that we filed in ECOWAS court, and I hope, and thinking for how many years this happened, the families, especially the children of Crude were never compensated. And I think this is a good thing for us to do at this time. Yeah. At this, taking it to ECOWAS court, hopefully they will get some justice.
Yeah. So the indigenous people of Biafra, led by Nnamdi Kanu, has sued the factional leader of the group, Simon Ekpa, over the declaration of a sit-at-home in the southeast. This was led out by Kanu's lead counsel, Ifeanyi Ejiofor, in a Facebook post. And he said Ekpa is the leader of a breakaway group, Autopilot Indigenous People of Biafra. And he said this was a reaction on Tuesday to Ekpa's sit-at-home order, and explaining that the suit was in response to the disturbing and false declarations in the region. And so they are going to be, he didn't give more details because he said the matter is already going to court. And this happened also because Ekpa on December 7th declared a 5-day sit-at-home across the southeast region to be observed from December 9th to the 14th. And, you know, according to him, when he mentioned this in his Twitter account, he said these are proactive measures being put in place by unnamed Biafra agitators to address the rising insecurity in the region, which was caused by the Nigerian government. So it's been a back and forth. You know, I've always suspected that at some point this sit-at-home will begin to eat the people of the southeast, because the reason they have been doing it, even the leader, Nnamdi Kanu, has come out to say that this is not going to pay us and has put a stop to it. But from time to time I hear, because I have a family member in Imo, and I hear we're not going to work again, there's another sit-at-home, and I'm wondering, but Nnamdi Kanu is not talking about this sit-at-home. So I'm glad that he has discovered this particular person who is peddling all this and taking him to court.
Okay. Daily Sun, Senate asks CBN to adjust withdrawal limits. Sit-at-home costs Southeast 4 trillion naira. 2023 polls won't cause Nigeria's breakup, says Khan. PSC promotes 745 police officers and others. 4th Mainland Bridge, stakeholders okay kickoff as government allays fears of landowners. Are people selling PVCs for pittance? Northern elders lament. FG approves new whistleblower bill, okays 9.24 billion naira insurance cover for all public servants. Enugu Assembly clarifies stand, comments Guanyi on security. Okay, which story?
Major headline. The Senate yesterday got the report of its committee on banking, insurance, and other financial institutions. And the chairman of the committee was saying that the new cash withdrawal limit was a well-conceived idea by the CBN for the transformation of the nation's economy, and that the action falls within the mandate of the Apex Bank. And he quoted the sections of the act that empowers the CBN. But then the session just went into Gidigbo Gaga. Well, Ajibola Bashir, Senator Ajibola Bashir was the first to kick against it. He called it nebulous, he called it vague. That's the report. And then he went on and said that the CBN cannot make policies for people. You know, the policies are made for people, and people are not made for policies. Policies are made for people, so they must be people oriented. And he says that 100,000 per week and 500. Other senators also agreed with him that, timing is even an issue. But, he says that limit is going to cause hardship for businesses. And now that they're celebrating that there are several POS operators in the country, people are now getting employed. This is, of course, going to limit them. So at the end of the day, they asked the CBN to please review the withdrawal limits and see how... All
right, so after yesterday's FEC meeting, the Minister of Finance, Zainab Ahmed, was saying that the federal government had noticed how many whistleblowers are refused to come forward. If you recall, this policy or this bill was brought in 2016, where they noticed that there was a possibility for people to come forward with information, and then they'll give them about 2.5% to 5% of whatever it is they find. But unfortunately, after doing some research across the 6 geopolitical zones, they realized that many people don't come forward because of fear. According to them, they don't feel secure with that information. They feel that somehow these things get back to people and then it harms them. So they're proposing a new bill to strengthen with the whistleblower policies so that people can be willing to come forward with adequate information for prosecution of people who need to be prosecuted. Criminals, yes. Okay, Vanguard, our final paper this morning. Let's see how much time we have. Buhari, I've done my best. Afenifere Yohaneze, others differ. Excitement as NPA is ranked high in performance. White paper on NDDC forensic audit out soon, says federal government. 4th mainland bridge, Lagos allays fares over compensation. Any thought of military coup is archaic, says General Irabo. $46.16 billion loss to oil theft in 12 years, says Naiti. Buying of PVCs attempt to suppress our votes, says Northern Elders. Why 24-hour joint patrol failed, says Southeast Governors. Petrol, we're working to end shortage nationwide, says marketers. We constructed second Niger Bridge with recovered looted funds, says Fashola. Okay. Okay, so that answers some of your questions on this looted bill matter.
Yes. Yeah. Okay. The Nigeria Extractive Industries Transparency Initiative, NETI, has backed the federal government's new panel on oil theft called the Special Investigative Panel on Oil Theft and Losses. And they said that in 20 years, starting 2009 to 2020, Nigeria has lost 619.7 million barrels of crude oil valued at $46.16 billion or 16.25 trillion naira. And in another paper, they said to the elite. That, I think, is vague. I hope that this special panel will help us because we know that there were those indicted for subsidy theft that received that money. That prosecution did not show anybody. Nobody has gone to jail for it. So we hope that this panel will give us results so that, because oil theft is huge. And it goes to the core of our existence as a nation because that is what we feed on as a nation. And so they should take it with the seriousness that it deserves. I like that the NATI was giving us breakdown as an agency on how this has affected and the amount, figures per year that they are putting to it is outrageous for a year. So
quickly, the Northern Elders Forum on Wednesday corroborated the alarm raised by INEC that some politicians were buying up permanent voter cards to manipulate the 2023 general election. So they did their own investigations and found that, you know, these politicians are going to the local government and giving people as little as 2,000 naira to collect their PVCs. So sometimes they promise them that they want to use it for a relief program. So they'll give them the money. They need the card so that they will continue giving them, you know, relief for their issues, and then they don't get these cards back. And so they are raising an alarm and saying that the federal government needs to do more, you know, to ensure that everybody has an opportunity to vote. At least keep your PVCs to yourself. It's your right. You're going to be selling your rights. I would like that they go to the local governments and speak to their people in their local languages and tell them the benefit or the importance of holding on to their PVCs and voting who they want, as again just calling on the federal government. This is a grassroots issue that I think the Northern Elders Forum should handle locally. Okay,
well, we'll see how that goes. We have to wrap up. Our president was in America, D.C., speaking to some leaders, saying that he has done his best.
He won.